Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Bhunaktu, Saha Viryam Karavavahe, Tejasvinavati Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So we had left off on just before Tamasik Dana, Sattvic Rajasic Dana. So Yajna, Ahara Yajna, Tapaha, Danam. So what stimuli you take in, how you serve, how you channelize your energy, and what you give back. And your only right in the world is to give, not to take. But our only mentality that we cultivate is to take. So if we're going to do that, at least take the higher value and make the desire which surpasses all other desires, mumukshatva. Not when it's convenient, not at part-time, but that burning desire to liberate all through the day. So that needs that consistency of purpose, that shraddha, what this chapter is called, the threefold division of shraddha. A consistency of purpose, of following an ideal to the truth, to the very end. You don't stop till you get there. Shraddha. So Dhanam. Dhanam, as we're discovering, is of Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasik. And we're coming on to the Tamasik. Tamasik, in actual fact, when you assess it, is so disguised in today's society, but it's no gift at all. So it's a reflection of what society has come, how we try to mask doing something, but really we have no interest about our own interests. It's totally upside down. And Rajasic Dhanam, what are the things in Rajasic Dhanam? What are the things? So let's go Sattvic Dhanam first. Make it easy. Right time, right place, right reason. So you've got to do that assessment. Right time, right place, right reason. And as a giver, you feel embarrassed that you are the giver because your only right is to give because you have to evolve. But you're not giving to feel that the receiver should be any less than you. They're not indebted to you. In fact, it's a privilege that they are in front of you, that you're able to serve them because it evolves you. So you're glad to have the taker. Mostly we're feeling, oh, why is there a take? Why do I have to give somebody? You don't feel like you're giving anybody. They're sort of like it's in your hand and you're just about to give and you pull it back. That's the way the society is right now. In fact, I witnessed something just this time when I was in the academy. Somebody had to give an amount, a quantum of something to another person. And say, let's say they were just, let's quantify it as 3 coins, 4 coins they had to give. And just as they were going to give, I'm not saying what it is, I'm just making it easier for us to understand the description. And though it belonged to the other person by right, they were just about to give the 4 coins and they looked at them and took one back. Their heart couldn't do it. And they made the story, I'm giving more, I'm giving more. So shouting loud, I'm giving more, I'm giving more. Nobody saw what went on in the inside. I was witness to it. So something in the mind retracts it. Tamasik. You're not even giving what you have to do. You certainly don't want to do it. So here the sattvic person gives it before asking. They're not waiting to be asked. They think this needs to be done. Let me go and offer. They feel that they're embarrassed that they have to give because the world should have that better equality and balance. But since they have it, they know it's the obligation to do it. They never make the receiver the debtor. They will search out the person and give proportionately to their ability, not quantum-wise. Proportionately, it's very different. It should pinch you, Swamiji often said, should pinch you when you give. So it should be like making you feel that something has been taken. So you've given the right amount, and then you continue that. That's the way to balance it, to gain the harmony or oneness in the world. So it's one's obligation in evolution to put back, not tomorrow, not the day after, right here and now. You have to find it out, seek it out, and give it. Don't hold on. Remember the lady I'm talking about, just about to give and gave it. There was only 3 witnesses there. So she knew that nobody else will come out to know. Anyway, the appropriate persons came to know. But that feeling of fear that you're going to lose something, even when you're giving something which doesn't belong to you, get that out of your system. Don't ever keep it in your system, or it spoils your evolution. Be smart. It's an attitude. Be discriminate. Just simply giving in the wrong place and wrong time to the wrong people is like you could be feeding terrorists or addicts. You've got to be smart. But you have to maintain that attitude in life if you want to flourish and your surrounds to flourish with you, to give, to serve, to channelize your energies, tapaha, somewhere higher. Don't worry about gain or loss for yourself. If you give, you'll always be the winner. You can't afford to be worrying about my pockets, coffers will be empty, as in the Khalil Gibran poet and book, The Prophet. He says that for to withhold is to perish. But those who give much of little of what they have, their coffers are always full. And those who give little, those who don't give but have more, their coffers are always empty. They always feel empty. So to blossom, one's got to give, not ask, search it out, assess it, give in proportion, not in quantum. It's the proportion of your earnings. That's why in Islam, they have it 10% minimum. But it's if they have it in Vedanta too, nobody speaks about it. They have it in everywhere. It's at the material, physical, emotional, intellectual, and above all, swadhyaya yajna, highest form of giving. But you got to give in all methods to back. To back, the best type of giving is when you don't give for show or give for, often we give in ostentation to show that we've given, to gain a name or a fame. But you give for something which evolves society, something which evolves your community, something which evolves your universe, something which enables harmony to prevail, something which evolves the human condition, your evolution, something which evolves spiritual well-being, because that's what backs every aspect of the material, physical, emotional, intellectual well-being. If you don't have spiritual well-being, forget it. It's just knowledge. It's not wisdom. So you can't fake it. You might to others, but you yourself will know by the effects of how your life is either calm and peaceful or agitated. These are the side effects of the way your behavior, one's behavior is. We know it ourselves. So when it's not going like, check what one needs to do. Check it for yourself. Don't need to go anywhere else and check. So be conscientious in that. It's so key, so beautifully placed in the Gita 1, 2, 3. It's given us. And again in chapter 4, Yajna, it's given us in such a beautiful way of performing your activities with that discipline, service, and everybody's the winner, that cooperativeness. Everybody takes back the remnants of sacrifice. Everybody becomes the winner. Nobody's less, nobody's more. It's a mental attitude. So let's go. I think we left on
22.
22. Yeah.
Adeshakale yaddanam apatrebhyayascha diyate asatkritam avagnatam tattamasam udahritam.
Sam, if you could read the verse.
Verse 22. Gift given at a wrong place and time to unworthy recipients, without respect, with insult, that is declared tamasika.
So the gift which is given, as we were mentioning just a moment ago, the gift which is given is all upside down. Wrong place, wrong time. Can you call that a gift? It's opposite. Wrong place, wrong time. You're really not bothered. When things are done in time, then it flourishes. When there's a procrastination, you can't make a decision. There's a fear. There's a maliceness. You don't want to give as you feel that make the other person better. There's a fear because you might lose something. There's a procrastination because you're not, you can't move. You become almost zapped of energy in that stress. So that fear of giving, that attachment that you might lose something. And when you're pushed to give, even like this lady I was telling you about, she was pushed to give because she'd wrongly taken from somebody and she had to give it back. And even then in her mind was so warped that she felt that maybe I'll tell everybody I'm giving X, Y, Z. But when it came to it, her hand held tight with the 1 coin and she gave the 3 as show. So nobody would know because the people there were too honorable to say. I saw that. So when there's no care for anyone but oneself, when a person's unable to take a decision and they do it too late, self-interest, they do it too late, it causes harm. It saps one's energies. So when a person needs support, don't think about how can I do it? Oh, I will do it when the time comes and I have it. The person materially poor but spiritually evolved always has something in the pocket. The person who is materially wealthy may think twice. So if you have it and you're materially well, make sure you give it, because it's your evolution. It's stunting you. So with a purpose of some higher value, not with self-interest, because this is with self-interest. That's the opposite of tamas. So when you prevent an individual from succeeding and you have the means, then that's tamasic. Wrong place, wrong decision. You might want to support, but you think somebody else should do it. Wrong thinking doesn't get you anywhere. So when person needs support, you go and give it after the event. That's tamasic. Remember in the last verse, in the rajasic, tamasic verse, the Earl of Chesterfield, he describes it in such a way like I was drowning, and when I come to shore, then you offer praise and pretend that you were my patron. You like association when there's success, but along the journey when there's a struggle, where you can help, if you don't help, that's tamasic. Remember that example of the Earl of Chesterfield. Helping, not helping, but pseudo appearing to help. Samuel Johnson created the first dictionary. So sometimes we are so attached to trying to hold on to things because of our fears. We're not able to part of what must be given. Not even in our books of our own feeling that we're generous, but we know it's got to be given, but we just don't do it. Tamasic. So we fall victim, and we also victimize the receiver. So one ought never to make a beggar of a receiver. We're the beggar by the giver to be evolving. So often people do that. They give it to make another person so they can control another person. Tamasic. It's tamasic. So give freely. Open your hand, just give it. Discriminately, but freely. Don't cause a division. Don't be detrimental. Guru, you have something?
Well, you just had a question. I think the same dilemma that I had when we were going through this tapaha as well. So for these tamasic acts, why do they are still called as danam or tapaha? Because the words tapaha or danam probably has a positive connotation. Now the very act of being done in tamasic way doesn't really qualify it to be a tapaha or danam in any way. So why is it really still being called as one category of tapaha or a tapa, or type of dana? Is it because this is still better than no danam or no tapaha? Is it why it is still really being categorized that way?
So I guess it could be like it's an entry point to your giving. But if you continue with that, it becomes backwards. So, sometimes one gives and it's painful. One hopes one isn't in that category. But a person gives and you can see it's painful on their faces. So in the Kala Givrana, it says that's your baptism. That's your entry point. It's so painful. You don't want to do it, but there's such a pressure that you have to do it. So at least you part some way. So the reality is also another point could be is when you include it in Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, you get the comparison. So you can't, if you don't include it as gift, all the time we're giving, but in maybe a tamasic way. And we think we're doing okay because at least we look at our neighbor who's not giving. We think, well, at least we gave. So we make some story of how we feel. but it's correcting you here. Don't be in the illusion that you gave. Wrong place, wrong time, detrimental, ill feeling, you can't, it's pseudo, it's paining you, troubling you, it's detrimental to the person. You victimize another person, you victimize yourself too. You fund a terrorist perhaps, and you justify it. So, it's giving, but all upside down. So what's the point of that? But it makes you aware of it. Because the mind's quite tricky if we say, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Oh, if we don't get tamasic, giving falls in between these two categories of rajasic and tamasic, sattvic and rajasic. But we always feel we're better off. I did it, no. I did something. I got away with it. Like people in corporations, they don't know that the persons, the organizations doesn't know it's there. It gets emailed immediately to the charity. They don't know it's gone. And they also have, when the person writes back, they also have a letter which goes out saying, thank you, we appreciate it. They don't know. They're not giving because they're to give. They're simply giving because it takes off their taxes. What's charitable in that? And then it makes the beggar out of the taker because they're at the whim and fancy of that giver surviving. Where's the charity? You think, well, maybe they benefited, they got money. You've made a beggar there and you've not thought there. So you've offloaded for your own self-interest. There's nothing charitable or giving in that or evolutionary. And the whole world is like that. And everybody will say, isn't it better than nothing? But what kind of culture have you cultivated that then you can't break that? Then when things go wrong, the attitude is of no giving, is only of that at best. And everybody praises that because it's a little bit of parting for the wrong reasons. And people praise that. There's no concept of rajas, even for public, there is that, there's concept of that, but there's no concept of sattva and for any reason of why one should do it. You want to make the receiver the debtor. You want to control the receiver. You want to make them the beggar. It's about a power. It's nothing about a giver. So you might bring in, sorry, we've elongated it. You might bring in all three. Be careful. You see, this is where you think you're giving. It's no giving. To give sort of, maybe like that. I wasn't there when Vyasa wrote it. I'm assuming and going from how the style of the Shastras go. They give. Sometimes in some of the verses, they will not say, they will not give that much detail. In the Bhagavad Gita, it gives detail. In the Upanishads, like those places where it just said, if you can't do dhyanam, meditation, do karma. And it doesn't even say sattvic, rajasic, tamasic karma. Karma means selfless service, period. So they don't even go into any explanation of karma. There's no sattva. They assume you're at that level that you understand, I've not reached that few desires, so I have to offload them and do karma in the right way. Not in the rajasic way, not in the tamasic way. So that's more of a refined way. It's more cryptic, it's at a certain level of student. The Bhagavad Gita thankfully explains to us step by step by step. Even in the Gita, it doesn't always do that. It leads us there and then doesn't explain it. It assumes you know that this now is about this type of person, an enlightened person. Here he's giving it there, thankfully. It's okay.
Thank you.
Tim.
Maybe just a different spin on that question and answer. If you're in a non-dualist philosophy, you're trying to get away from a binary solution. It's either a gift or it's not. So by invoking the three gunas, you get a gradation of gifts. And you, therefore, the Tamasik gift may not be a gift at all, but it enables you to escape a sort of dualistic division of the world.
You can't fake it to yourself. You can fake it to everybody else. You can't fake it to yourself. Thanks. So somebody might think, Sam, go ahead.
I was just going to make a quick comment, if I may, that I think sometimes when you have the comparison, it helps you to understand the Sattvika one better, because at least you can compare it against something, then you know what is of a better one that one can strive for, essentially.
Yes. Or just imagine if we only had Tamasik gift. Turn it around. Remove Rajasic and Sattva. Wrong place, wrong time. If that's all we were given, say for example, then we might be in a position to say, oh, okay, wrong place, wrong time. But at least we gave. So in all respects, from there to there, we get thinking, okay, I was a little bit sheepish to do it because I realized my own reasons. I had it in myself. I didn't want to let go. I wanted to hang on. And then you think, I got to change this in myself. Oh gosh, did I do it because everything was giving me some publicity or some name or thing? Favors, or just do it because you've got to do it. So it's like that, isn't it? We find out. Okay. So say we understand when you're attached, you may give to the wrong places, wrong time. You may give to an addict, you may give to a terrorist, you may give where you're attached to a villain because you can't see a bigger picture. You may be stuck in something. So only when you evolve out of it can you think what I was doing was not okay. But you may be almost out of fear, just to be so attached. Parents do it to their kids. They keep pampering them. The kids have got them round their little finger because the parents have pampered them, not because the kids are just smart. It's not because the kids are smart to see how stupid the parents are. So the parents are doing the wrong things, the kids take advantage of it. And then too much of pampering, they leave them. The kids leave because they get fed up, smothered. Or a terrorist thinks they're doing the right thing. They're victimizing the whole world. Now, we're not defining who is and who is not. Anybody who terrorizes harmony in the world oneness. You could be doing all upside down things and saying it's peace. You don't know. You've got to use your intellect to think. Get your facts and figures. We're not judging anything. An addict, one who's craving the lower values, you pamper them because of your own attachments. Too frightened. So Tamasik, you can't help it because there's a craving desire for that person's or that vicinity to please you. So you will go to wrong means to get that attention. Terrible, so sad. Much does it. Without grace or respect. So gracefully you give more than you need to. There's no need or may not. Or you don't hold on. You have to examine it. You do a little bit more. You do a little bit more. If a person needs £1,000 and you can, give them too. I'm just making quantum of it, so one easy I'll understand. If a person needs your help and support to go somewhere, take them all the way. Don't just take them where it suits you and let them go on their way. Have that kindness to go all the way to support. Even when it's not necessary, even when it puts you out, that's when you've given, it pinches you. So the opposite is just not to, ungracefully. Tamasik, no respect, no grace, insultingly, contemptuously. Somebody you know keeps asking you to do something or give something. So when it comes to the crunch, you're just like, God, I have to give it. It's painful. Let pain be your entry point, your baptism. So give it without wanting to control. Also in the Kala Gibrani says, don't give it to your inheritors because they'll squander it. The number of fights there are later on. Make sure you give it now. Let the season of giving be yours now, he says. So think, where does something require what I can give? Where can I serve? It's not, Tamasik is not that. Nature gives with no expectation. We take with all expectation. Tamasik, we have to get away from that. The tamas keeps us away from our true self. Human beings expect everything, hence the veil of desire covers the self. Karyam karma, without expectation of fruit. But the human wants everything. Let's read it.
Tamasik Dana is described as gift made thus. Adeshakale.
Adeshakale.
Adeshakale. At a wrong place and time. Such a gift ceases to be useful, beneficial to the donee, like dispensing medicine to a wrong patient or in wrong dosage. It may even harm the recipient.
Mm. So you give money to a drug addict, not for the food, but it goes straight on the drugs, harms. But a parent may do that because of their attachment and love. So to be careful. Wrong dosage. Apatrabaya. And go to the next one.
Apatribya, to unworthy persons. The world comprises two distinct classes of persons. Self-centered people who do not give at all, or those who give to wrong persons unworthy of receiving the gift. Such gift amounts to mere impulsive expression. The donor is not concerned about the outcome of his gift. Consequently, unworthy causes receive patronage while the genuine languish.
So you have to examine when you're giving it. Is it giving for show, publicity, for your own name and fame and status, so you feel better? So somebody gives you a pat on the back. And what really needs to be done? Nobody gives for spiritual evolution. That's the key thing to eliminate mental illness. Nobody gives. Too wrapped up in rajas. Subtle. So think when you give what the direction is. Asat kritam. Without respect. So
Ashat without respect. A gift serves a worthy cause. The donor feels honored to serve a noble person or institution, hence conferred with due respect and regard. A gift made without such respect and honor is designated as tamasika.
mm-hmm. So in the case, you know, when you serve a bigger cause, when you realize you are taking, you're the taker in life, you understand, you bow down to something bigger and give. And if it's perhaps somebody who's given, like we always say, to serve the guru, so to serve, you know, we'll have that reverence. And it's a pleasure to serve something like, because the guru doesn't want any of your service. It's like all the organization as such. But it's part of your yajna to put back to something higher, wherever it may be, in that sense. But if you do it grudgingly, then they don't need. You're not doing it for them, you're actually doing it for your growth. They don't need it. Then in that case, that lack of respect will kill you. That lack of reverence, you may have given it, whatever it may be, but that lack of reverence will shrivel you, your growth, Tamasik. So do it gracefully, whatever you're going to do. Whether it be to your guru, whether it be to guru, meaning just somebody who's offering you higher values, wherever it may be in the world, your organization, your workplace, whatever, your family, wherever you respect, serve. Do it gracefully. Never feel that they're taking something they don't from me. Just give it grace. Let yourself evolve. Let's go. Next one.
Avajnatam, with insult. Tamasika gift lacks not only respect, but is demeaning as well. A gift given contemptuously, expressed with disgust and harshness.
So you have to think of the different examples you see in life given with disrespect. Did you have to? Demeaning. I don't know if anybody can think of an example. Demeaning. Vidya.
I suppose when you come from a position of ostentation and trying to offer a friend or a acquaintance food or any kind of a help when it's not been asked for, or worse still, giving it in front of others and kind of making a noise about it to say, oh, I know you're struggling to pay bills and I know you're struggling to buy food. Here's the food. And that's an insult because it may not be widely known that somebody is in need of that help, and the family is being humble and not asking for it. So I think Krishna says when you give, your left hand shouldn't know what your right hand is giving. It should be that discreet. But when you do it and you then go around telling everybody about the plight of somebody else, that is insult to injury, isn't it?
It should be anonymous. Just do it, don't voice it. Also, you don't make the person ever feel, even if you do it quietly, you don't make yourself be bigger ever. Just quietly do it. Disgust, harshness, contemptuous, demeaning. Look how many words he's describing what we got to avoid to get it through to the lack of buddhi. Guru.
Orji, I had an example that I want to share. This is back from my hometown. So I've got a relative of ours who are landlords, and there is a family that has been serving them since a very long time. So during their great grandfather's time, there was a promise made that they're going to be given a small piece of land. For some reason, it had been only verbal. It was not really done on the paper. So 2 generations after, now it looks like, they needed to kind of get some work done. Having the paperwork was required. Looks like they have been actually coming back to the family and asking them to get that piece of land. What was promised to them, what was rightfully theirs, somehow is not being given now in the current generation. And they kind of make it look as if, these guys have been pestering all along for the piece of land, and they don't want to give because the price of the land seems to have increased. And with great disdain, they seem to be, kind of always trying to kind of send them off, not really putting it on the paper. It gives an impression that they just don't want to kind of give that piece of land. But then I think this family doesn't have anywhere else to go. So it feels sad when you really see that a landlord who probably amassed so much still doesn't really have the heart to give a small piece of land, what was promised, I think, by their own forefathers.
So this is a very common story across the world in different ways. Yes. The corporations which maintain and flourish are the ones that have given all along. The ones which will fall apart are those ones which have made people work on incentives and then they cut it, not on initiatives. And those who have worked on initiatives, inside they'll be okay. But we're in a Rajasic society where you have to assert aggressive good. Otherwise, the passive good become victim, and the aggressive bad become winners. So growing one's intellect gets one out of this tamas. Yeah, you're right. You can see that happening over and over again. You have to be, the system is rajasic. So if you want to apply sattva, it almost cuts it out. So you have to be smart to apply sattva. Sattvic dana, sattvic tapaha, sattvic yajna. The system is rajasic, tamasic. It sees all the things which are wrong as right. So they can justify it. Tim.
Just another example. There was a case in this country of blood donation where haemophiliacs require often blood transfusions, and the government supplied blood which they knew was infected with hepatitis. So they were giving blood, but in such a way that it damaged and harmed those who received it many years later.
For profit, huh? perhaps, or just idleness, tamas, who knows?
With disrespect.
Disrespect. So this is a continuous theme which we see in the society, all these words you can apply. So this is what we've got to jump out of. Really, if it's not yours, don't hang on. Let it off. If you've got some purpose and it needs to be done, grab it so you can put it back into society. So you have to have a buddhi to maneuver on these things. So that's why we're growing buddhi. Otherwise you get stuck in your evolution of quarrel, fight, this, that, the other. Things which are not quite right, we know. Let's go. 23. See how just go away from this, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, dana. You really just reflect on it as much as you can, because it's we're in a rajasic society at large. So it's very easy to slip up and think that rajas is actually giving. You mask it all. I gave this much, I gave that much, XYZ is watching you. You get the name, you get the shame, or they don't deserve it when they might deserve it. XYZ is not watching, I don't have to give it. Goodness sake, let your conscience prick. Let your hand be open to giving discriminately. And don't let anybody know. It's nobody's business to know what you've given. Just give it. But it's your business to do it. (23)
Om Tat Sat iti nirdesho brahmanastri vidasmrita Ramanastena vedascha yajñascha vihita pura.
Jyoti, if you could read the verse.
Om Tat Sat has been considered the threefold designation of Brahman, from which arose Brahmanas, Vedas, and sacrifices of yore. The last topic covers verses 23 to 28.
So we can just, so just this is the last topic. Thanks, Jyoti. So last topic, as you were saying, 23, 28. How Om, it shows how Om, the supreme, but that Sat, reality, Asat, unreality, how they can be used to liberate. So Brahman, the name for the supreme reality, God. In Vedantic literature, we say it that way. In Christianity, we say the Father in heaven is the same as Brahman. And in Islam, it's Allah. So Muhammad, Christ, Krishna, they all had births and deaths. But no, Brahman has no birth or death. Allah has no birth or death. Father in heaven has no birth or death. So Om Tat Sat is talking about the Brahman. Om is a symbol of God, truth. It's first three letters of the Quran is also Brahmatirtha puts it forward in the Arabic grammar to say the same thing. So guttural, middle sound, end sound. When you say it, it goes from your throat to the middle to the level, completes the whole sound phenomenon, captured in one word, Om. It represents the waking, dream, and deep sleep state. I'm just rushing through this because we've got a couple of minutes, but we will run through it properly later. So it represents conditioned consciousness. So the conditioned consciousness arose from the pure consciousness before the conditioned consciousness is pure consciousness. So Om is that sound arising from that pure consciousness silence. And it also, you need the silence to hear the sound. And it goes back to that silence to complete it. So this word Om is articulate and inarticulate, meaning it has a definition. You can define it in meaning. Also, it has an intonation. Its sound vibration has got something which elevates you too. So we're not going to go any further. Or maybe, yes, we can still. We've got 1 minute. We can't do all of this. We talk about supreme reality in 1 minute. It's not possible. So let's start next week. Before we go, I just wanted to mention Swami Parthasarathi had just this morning a operation on his heart. He's 96 years old. It was to clip a leaking valve, and it's the second time he's had that. He had it once a year ago. And for anybody who might have, it was just to know what the person who made this available to us, just to know where he's at. The operation went successfully, so just thought I'd let you know that for anybody who wanted to know. So we're very privileged to have him.
Thank you.
Thank you.